My granddaughter tugged at my sleeve during Sunday dinner, her small voice barely a whisper. "Grandpa, please don't take your medicine tonight. I saw Aunt Miranda put something bad in it." I looked into her 7-year-old eyes and saw genuine terror. That little girl saved my life. And what I discovered next about the woman my son married still haunts me to this day. Before I tell you what happened after my granddaughter's warning, I want to know, where are you watching from and what time is it there? Drop a comment below. I want to know who's listening to this true story right now. It was a warm October evening in Houston, the kind of Texas sunset that paints everything gold and makes you grateful to be alive. I'm 67 years old, retired petroleum engineer, and I thought I knew everything about the people sitting at my dinner table that night. My son Derek, 42, had brought his wife Miranda and their daughter Lily over for our weekly Sunday dinner. We'd been doing this for 3 years, ever since my wife Barbara passed from pancreatic cancer. Those Sunday dinners kept me going, gave me something to look forward to. Derek worked as a financial advisor downtown. Miranda was a pharmaceutical sales rep. Ironic, given what she was planning. They seemed happy enough. Nice house in the woodlands, good schools for Lily. The American dream. What I didn't know was that behind those polished smiles, Miranda had been calculating my death for months. That evening, I'd grilled steaks, made my famous baked potatoes, Barbara's recipe. Lily helped me set the table like she always did. She was a quiet kid, observant, the kind of child who noticed things adults missed. After dinner, Miranda excused herself to use the bathroom. Nothing unusual, but Lily followed her with her eyes. I noticed, but didn't think much of it. When Miranda returned, she was all smiles. "More wine, Dad?" She always called me Dad. It felt forced, but I'd never said anything. "I'm good, thanks. Just need to take my evening pills." I'd been on heart medication for 5 years. Metoprolol for blood pressure, baby aspirin, a statin for cholesterol. Nothing dramatic. I kept them in a weekly pill organizer on the kitchen counter. Easy to remember. I reached for Sunday's compartment. That's when Lily grabbed my arm. Her grip was surprisingly strong for a 7-year-old. Her eyes were wide, pleading. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" She glanced at her mother, then back at me. Her lip trembled. "Nothing, Grandpa. I just wanted to show you my drawing first." Miranda laughed. "Lily, let Grandpa take his medicine. You can show him your drawing after." But Lily's hand didn't let go. Her fingers dug into my forearm, and in her eyes, I saw something that made my stomach drop. Fear. Pure, desperate fear. I know what I should have done. I should have listened to her right then. But I didn't want to cause a scene. Didn't want to embarrass anyone. "Tell you what," I said. "I'll take my pills later. Let's see that drawing." Lily's shoulders relaxed. Just slightly. But enough for me to notice. The rest of the evening passed normally. Derek talked about his clients. Miranda complained about traffic on I-45. Lily showed me her crayon drawing of our house, complete with me standing in the front yard waving. When they left, I walked them to the door, hugged Derek, gave Miranda the obligatory cheek kiss. But when I knelt to hug Lily, she whispered something in my ear. "Please don't take them, Grandpa. Promise me." "I'll be careful," I whispered back. "I promise." She nodded solemnly, like we'd made a blood pact. After their car disappeared down the street, I stood in my kitchen staring at that pill organizer. Sunday's compartment was still full. I'm an engineer. Spent 40 years solving problems, analyzing data, finding faults in systems. And right now, something in my system was telling me to pay attention. I picked up the pill organizer and examined Sunday's compartment. The pills looked normal. Same white metoprolol, same orange baby aspirin, same tiny statin. But something was different. It took me a moment to realize what. The coating on the metoprolol looked slightly duller than usual, almost chalky. I'd been taking these pills for 5 years. I knew exactly what they looked like. This wasn't right. I grabbed a magnifying glass from my desk drawer, examined the pill closely. The surface was slightly irregular, like something had been applied to it and dried. My heart pounded. Not from arrhythmia, from fear. I put the pills in a plastic sandwich bag, sealed it, labeled it with the date. Then I sat in my recliner and thought about what to do next. Call Derek? And say what? Your wife might be poisoning me because your 7-year-old said so? Call the police? With what evidence? A granddaughter's warning and a pill that looked funny? No. I needed more information first. I needed to understand what I was dealing with. The next morning, I did something I'm not proud of. I called my old friend, Harold Chen. He'd been a toxicologist at MD Anderson before retiring. We'd played poker together for 20 years. Harold, I need a favor. I explained the situation. Told him about Lily's warning, about the strange-looking pill. He was quiet for a long moment. Bring it to my house. I still have equipment in the garage. Shouldn't use it for this, but for you, I will. 2 hours later, I sat in Harold's garage while he ran tests on the metoprolol. His face grew grimmer with each result. Walter, he finally said, this pill has been coated with digoxin, high concentration. Combined with your heart medication, this would cause severe bradycardia. Your heart would slow down until it stopped. I couldn't breathe. He continued, if you'd taken this, it would look like natural heart failure. Your existing condition would explain it. Perfect cover. How long? I managed. How long have they been doing this? I don't know, but based on the concentration, whoever did this wasn't trying to make you sick. They were trying to kill you. I drove home in a daze, parked in my garage, sat there for an hour. Miranda, my son's wife, the mother of my granddaughter, she was trying to murder me. But why? I forced myself to think like an engineer. Analyze the problem, find the variables. Variable 1, money. I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable. House paid off. Retirement accounts. Life insurance policy worth $400,000. Beneficiary, Derek. Variable 2, timing. Barbara died 3 years ago. Shortly after, Miranda started pushing for these Sunday dinners. She'd never been particularly interested in family time before. Variable 3, opportunity. Miranda always offered to refill my pill organizer. Said it was the least she could do since I cooked dinner every week. I'd thought it was considerate. Now I realized she'd been setting the stage for months. But I still needed proof. Lily's warning and Harold's analysis weren't enough. A defense lawyer would argue contamination. Say I'd tampered with the pills myself. Claim I was a bitter old man trying to destroy my son's marriage. I needed Miranda to confess. That night, I called an attorney I'd worked with during a wrongful termination suit decades ago. Eleanor Vasquez. 73 years old and still sharper than anyone half her age. When I explained what was happening, she listened without interrupting. Then she said something that changed everything. Walter, I handled a case like this 15 years ago. Husband poisoning his wife for insurance money. The key was documentation. You need to record everything. Texas is a one-party consent state. You can record any conversation you're part of. What about the police? Not yet. You need more evidence. Make her think you're getting sicker. See if she escalates. But be careful. Very careful. Over the next 3 weeks, I became an actor in my own life. I stopped taking the pills from my organizer. Instead, I'd filled a separate container with legitimate medication that I'd picked up from the pharmacy myself. I took those privately each morning. But when Miranda was around, I made a show of being weak. Complained about dizziness. Said my heart was racing at night. Mentioned that my doctor was concerned. I watched her reactions carefully. At first, confusion. Then barely concealed satisfaction. She'd pat my arm sympathetically, but her eyes were calculating. Maybe you should see a specialist, Dad. These symptoms sound serious. Each Sunday, I'd pretend to take the pills she'd tampered with. Then I'd secretly spit them into a napkin, bag them, label them. Harold confirmed each batch was poisoned. The digoxin concentration was increasing. She was getting impatient. Meanwhile, I started investigating her background. Hired a private investigator named Marcus Webb, former Houston PD. Now he worked insurance fraud cases. What he found made my blood run cold. Miranda's first husband had died 8 years ago. Heart failure. He was 41 years old, healthy before that. She'd collected $200,000 in life insurance. Before him, She'd been engaged to a man named Ronald Torres. He died in a car accident 3 months before the wedding. Single vehicle crash. No witnesses. His family had suspected foul play, but couldn't prove anything. She'd worked as a pharmaceutical sales rep for 15 years. Specialized in cardiovascular medications. She knew exactly which drugs could kill and exactly how to avoid detection. I wasn't her first victim. I was her third. The question now was whether my son knew. I didn't want to believe Derek was involved. He was my only child. Barbara and I had raised him to be honest, hardworking, good. But the financial records Marcus uncovered told a different story. Derek's investment firm was failing. He'd made bad bets on crypto, lost client money, was facing potential fraud charges. He needed cash desperately. My life insurance policy, $400,000, split between Derek and Lily equally. But there was more. Unknown to me, Derek had taken out an additional policy on my life 2 years ago, $1 million, named himself as sole beneficiary. I'd been signing documents he'd put in front of me for years. Power of attorney for financial matters, estate planning forms. I'd trusted him completely. He'd been planning this longer than Miranda. The realization nearly destroyed me. My own son, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, the teenager I'd coached through his first heartbreak, the man I'd proudly watched graduate from UT Austin. He wanted me dead. I sat in my empty house that night and cried. Not just for myself, for Barbara, for everything we'd built together that was now revealed as a lie. But grief wouldn't save me. Action would. I called Eleanor Vasquez, told her everything Marcus had found. "We need to involve the police now," she said. "This is attempted murder. Multiple counts, potentially. I need them to confess first." "On tape." "Walter, that's dangerous." "I know. But I need to hear it from my son's mouth. I need to understand why." She was quiet. Then, "I know a detective. Homicide. Specializes in family cases. Let me make a call." Detective Rosa Martinez was small but intense. She reviewed my evidence with the expression of someone who'd seen the worst humanity could offer. "Mr. Patterson," she said quietly, "you have enough for an arrest right now. The poison pills, the financial motive, the pattern of deaths connected to your daughter-in-law, but not a conviction. A good lawyer could create reasonable doubt." She nodded slowly. "What do you want to do?" "I want to wear a wire. I want to get them both on tape, admitting what they've done." "That's risky. If they realize what's happening, they might accelerate their timeline." "I'm 67 years old, detective. My wife is gone. My son wants me dead. My granddaughter is the only person in my family who actually loves me. I need the truth more than I need safety." She studied me for a long moment, then nodded. "We'll set it up, but we do it my way." The plan was simple. I'd invite Derek and Miranda over for a special dinner. Tell them my doctor had given me bad news. Stage it as a final confession, a chance to settle my affairs. If they were truly planning to kill me, this would be their opportunity to accelerate. They'd need to act before I changed my will or told anyone else about my health. We chose a Saturday. I called Derek on Wednesday. "Son, I need you and Miranda to come over this weekend. The doctor gave me some news. It's not good." His voice shifted. Concern that sounded rehearsed. "What kind of news, Dad?" "I'd rather tell you in person. Saturday evening, 6 o'clock. A pause. Then, we'll be there." I spent the next 3 days preparing. Detective Martinez and her team set up surveillance. Cameras in the living room. Microphones throughout the house. An undercover officer posed as a neighbor walking his dog. Eleanor helped me prepare documentation. A new will, leaving everything to Lily, held in trust until she was 25. Medical power of attorney transferred to my sister in Arizona. Life insurance beneficiary changed to a children's hospital in Barbara's name. I wanted Derek to know exactly what he'd lost. Saturday came with one of those perfect Houston evenings. Cool for October, clear sky, the kind of night that made you believe in second chances. But I knew there would be no second chances after tonight. Miranda arrived first. Derek was parking the car. She came in carrying a bottle of wine and a casserole dish. "I made your favorite, Dad. Chicken and rice." "How thoughtful," I said. "But I'm not very hungry tonight. Just want to talk." She set the dish on the counter. Her eyes swept the room, looking for anything unusual. The surveillance equipment was well hidden. "Where's your pill organizer?" she asked. "I don't see it on the counter." I put it away. Doctor said the medication isn't helping anymore. A flicker of something crossed her face. Disappointment? Then it was gone. Derek came in, hugged me. The embrace of a man calculating his inheritance. "Dad, you sounded serious on the phone. What's going on?" "Let's sit in the living room. I have things to tell you both." They sat on the couch. I took the recliner facing them, the same recliner where Barbara had spent her final weeks, where I'd held her hand as she slipped away. I imagined her watching over me now, giving me strength. "The doctor found something," I began. My heart. "It's worse than we thought." Miranda leaned forward. Her expression was sympathetic. "Perfect. How much worse?" "I've got maybe 6 months. Could be less." Derek's face cycled through emotions. Shock. Sadness. And underneath it all, calculation. "Dad, there must be something they can do. Specialists. Clinical trials." "I've accepted it, son. That's why I wanted to talk to you tonight. About the future." Miranda's hand found Derek's. Supportive wife. Concerned daughter-in-law. The performance was flawless. "I've been thinking about my affairs," I continued. "The house. The investments. My life insurance. I want to make sure everything is in order." "That's wise, Dad." Derek's voice was steady. "Do you want me to help with the paperwork? I handle estate planning for clients all the time." "Actually, that's part of what I wanted to discuss." I paused. "Derek, I know about the policy." His face went pale. "What policy?" "The one you took out 2 years ago. $1 million. With yourself as sole beneficiary." Silence. Miranda's hand tightened on Derek's arm. "That was just—" Derek stumbled over the words. "That was prudent planning. In case something happened. For the family. For the family." I let the words hang. "Not for me. Not for Lily. For you." "Dad, you're making this sound worse than it is." "Am I?" I looked at Miranda. "Tell me, when did you two decide to start poisoning me?" The room went completely still. Miranda's mask slipped. Just for a second. Fear and fury flashed in her eyes before she composed herself. "Walter, that's a terrible thing to say. You're obviously not thinking clearly." "I'm thinking more clearly than I have in 3 years." I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and returned with a folder. Inside were Harold's toxicology reports, photos of the tampered pills, Marcus's investigation findings, everything. I dropped the folder on the coffee table. Digoxin, coating my metoprolol, enough to cause heart failure that would look natural. I looked at Miranda. "You've done this before, haven't you? Your first husband, Ronald Torres." Miranda stood up. "This is insane. Derek, we're leaving." But Derek didn't move. He was staring at the folder, at the evidence of his own involvement. "The life insurance policy," I continued. "The power of attorney you had me sign. The documents changing my beneficiaries. You've been planning this for 2 years, Derek. Maybe longer." "Dad, you don't understand." His voice cracked. "The business is failing. I owe people money. Dangerous people. I didn't have a choice." "There's always a choice. You could have come to me. I would have helped you." "With what?" He looked up, and I saw rage. Rage I'd never seen before. "You've been sitting on all this money since Mom died. The house, the accounts, the pension. You could have helped us years ago. You never asked. Because you would have said no. You've always been selfish. Always putting yourself first." The words hit like physical blows. "Is that what you really believe?" "It's what I know." Derek stood up. "Mom did everything for this family. You just worked, came home, expected dinner on the table, expected us to be grateful. I loved your mother. I loved you. You loved yourself." He moved toward me. "You have no idea what I've been through. The pressure, the fear. I needed that money. And you were just going to sit there and let it go to charity or whatever noble cause you'd decided on. So you decided to kill me." The words hung in the air. Derek's jaw tightened. Miranda was already edging toward the door. "It was supposed to be painless," he said quietly. "You'd go to sleep, heart failure. Natural causes. Quick. Better than watching you deteriorate for years like Mom did. You were doing me a favor. Yes. I stared at my son. The stranger wearing my son's face. And Lily? What happens to her when both her parents go to prison? That broke something in him. He lunged at me. But before he could reach me, the front door burst open. Detective Martinez and 3 officers rushed in. Derek was tackled to the ground. Miranda screamed as she was handcuffed. "Walter Patterson, you're a hero," Martinez said as her team secured the scene. "But also slightly insane for doing this." I watched them lead my son out in handcuffs. He was crying, calling my name, begging for forgiveness. I felt nothing. No, that's not true. I felt grief. Grief for the son I thought I'd raised. Grief for the family I thought I had. Grief for Barbara, who never had to know what Derek became. But underneath the grief was something else. Relief. It was finally over. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The prosecution had overwhelming evidence. The poisoned pills, the toxicology reports, the financial records, and most damning of all, the recording of Derek and Miranda admitting to the conspiracy. Miranda's past came out. Her first husband's death was reopened. New evidence connected her to Ronald Torres's fatal car accident. She was charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Derek was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and insurance fraud. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty. All counts. Both defendants. Miranda received life without parole. Derek got 25 years. I attended every day of the trial, sat in the front row, watched justice unfold. When the verdicts were read, Derek looked back at me. His eyes were empty, defeated. "I'm sorry, Dad," he mouthed the words. I didn't respond. Some apologies come too late. After the trial, I had a different battle. Custody of Lily. Miranda's parents tried to fight for her, claimed I was too old, too traumatized, too involved in the case. But the judge saw what I saw. A 7-year-old girl who'd saved her grandfather's life, who'd shown more courage than anyone twice her age, who needed someone who actually loved her. Full custody, effective immediately. The day I brought Lily home, she ran through the house, touching everything. My books, Barbara's quilt, the photos on the mantel. "Is this really my home now, Grandpa?" "Really, truly." She stopped in front of a photo of Barbara. "Is this Grandma?" "Yes. She would have loved you so much. I wish I'd met her." "Me too, sweetheart, me too. We've built a new life now. It's been 2 years. Lily is 9. She's in 4th grade. Loves soccer. Hates broccoli. Laughs at my terrible jokes. The nightmares come less often now, for both of us. I still think about Derek sometimes. Wonder where I went wrong. What signs I missed. Whether I could have done something different. My therapist says those questions don't have answers. That sometimes people choose darkness, no matter how much light they're given. I'm not sure I believe that, but I'm learning to accept it. Last month, I got a letter from Derek, prison stationery, handwritten. I read the first line. "Dad, I know you probably won't read this." He was right. I put it in a drawer unopened. Maybe someday I'll be ready. Maybe never. Lily asked about him once. Her father. Why he did what he did. I told her the truth. Age appropriate, like the counselor suggested. "Sometimes people get lost," I said. "They make terrible choices. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault. It was his." She nodded. Then, "I'm glad I told you about the medicine, Grandpa." "Me too, sweetheart. You saved my life." She smiled. "That's because I love you." 4 words. Worth more than any amount of money, more than any inheritance, more than anything Derek was trying to steal. "I love you too," I said. "Always. We're okay now. Different, changed, but okay. Some days are harder than others, holidays especially. Seeing other families together, remembering what we lost. But we're building something new, something real, something based on love, not obligation, on truth, not lies. Here's what I want you to understand if you're listening to this true story. Pay attention to the children in your life. They see things we miss. They sense danger before we do. Lily noticed something wrong when I was too blinded by trust to see it. When a child is scared, listen. Don't dismiss their fears. Don't rationalize their warnings away. They might be seeing the truth we're too comfortable to accept. Trust your instincts. I knew something was off with Miranda. Those Sunday dinners that felt forced. The overly helpful gestures. The way her smile never quite reached her eyes. I noticed I just didn't act. Don't wait until someone is trying to kill you to acknowledge the red flags. And finally, understand this. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. The people who share your DNA aren't automatically the people who love you. My son wanted me dead. My granddaughter saved my life. One shared half my genes. The other shared my heart. Choose the people who choose you. That's the lesson. That's what these grandpa stories are about. Learning from the mistakes and wisdom of those who came before. I was 67 years old when I discovered my son was trying to murder me. I'm 69 now, still here, still fighting, still raising a granddaughter who deserves better than the parents she got. Every morning I wake up is a victory. Every soccer game I attend, every homework session at the kitchen table, every bedtime story. Derek tried to take all that away from me. He failed. Because a 7-year-old girl had the courage to speak up. If this true story resonated with you, please leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Subscribe to Feathered Vengeance for more true stories like this one. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them. Trust the children. They see more than we think. Stay safe out there, friends.